Hi, now you're live. Hi,
Hey,
Barbara. Good day. Good day to you.
hey, hi, how are you?
Fine, fine. What's the time in and where are you from? What is your time?
I'm in Italy. It's 9:36.
Okay. No, here in Mexico we
Yeah,
have
in the evening.
2:36 almost afternoon and okay, welcome. I'm almost 24 hours live streaming here, you know. It's a long,
You
long,
must
long
be
time.
tired, huh?
Kind of, but not really because it's like a passion, you know. When you like to do something, you don't feel that your energy is going, you know. I mean, it's like energized drink, something like you know, Red Bull or something. You get more energy. You want to do more and more and more. I mean, I cannot believe it. I actually I'm awake more than 24 hours because I got up yesterday at 7 a.m. and now in Mexico we have 2:36 p.m. So I mean I'm live streaming for 24 hours, but also from 7 to 5. Let's say, okay, let's count how many hours. It's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm 35 hours awake now without sleeping. A long time. Oh my god. But I'm still alive, so.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. Uh, okay, I don't see where's Renzo. Is he. Do you have him here on Skype?
I think I told him that you were
Okay.
waiting for him he's around, he's online.
Okay, let me add him. Maybe he's there. Okay, where? Okay,
Hmm.
let's put the.
I put my video on. If
Yes,
the
I see
internet
you.
doesn't work,
Yeah.
I can turn it back. I'll turn it off. If it's too much for the internet, I'll turn it off.
Okay, I see you.
Okay, you see him?
Uh, oh, wait. Uh, Renzo. Yes, he's online. Okay, I will add him here, and
Yeah.
let's see if he picks up. Okay, there's a new picture here. Okay, I'm calling him.
Great.
Yep.
I've been trying to get Renzo to do an interview with me for some time now.
Yeah. No, I had so many problems with my computer, and that's since last year
Uh-huh.
when I was planning making a 9/11 live stream. I got hacked. I got a virus. I mean, it's a miracle that I could now do it for the Green Day Reloaded. Ah, okay, Renzo.
Hello, Hans.
Hello, hello, wie geht's? I mean, he speaks German too. But
Yes,
let's do it in English because I don't think you speak German, right? Or do you speak German?
I can understand, but not very much. I
Okay.
can't talk in German very well.
Now let's do it in English. I mean, it's anyway many people or more people understand English than German or Spanish, whatever. Okay, how are you doing,
You
Renzo?
can do.
We're doing quite fine in these days after heavy spraying days. We got quite tired, but now we are recovering.
Yeah.
Renzo, turn off the audio of the video. Turn off the audio.
I can't. How am I? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear a bit low, not that
That's the
loud.
maximum I can put in somehow. I don't know why.
Okay.
I'm not a computer specialist here. There is no button here to make it louder.
I
Okay.
think. No, I can hear you. It's just fuzzy.
I'm just sitting right next to the PC, so it's a direct microphone included.
It's okay. I mean, at least um I understand everything. It's a bit low still, but it's understandable. Let's say. Okay, so it's a long time ago. We were actually on Skype and talking in person. So many months. I think it was with Sylvan Henry that the last time when I was with you, Renzo. So many months ago. I mean, wow, time is so fast. I mean, it's incredible, incredible. Barbara, I think with you it's the first time, or did we chat before?
Yeah, I was on the show a couple of times with Sylvain and Renzo.
Ah, okay, yeah, then yes. Oh my
Yeah.
God, and how is Sylvain doing? I saw him also connected, and I say hi, Sylvain, but he didn't answer. Is he okay?
Hmm. I don't know. I've lost touch with him the last few months.
Ah, okay, yeah, same here. I mean, he's still alive and posting a lot on Facebook, so I
Yes.
assume he is okay. And I mean, last my last Green Day event, 2013, more than one year ago, let's say, he was also talking, and I would like to have him also talking today in the second part of the Reloaded, but
Yeah.
I don't know what's why he's not there. Maybe he's busy or okay. Anyway, I mean, I will do more live streams. I won't wait another year to do another live stream. I'm just getting recovered with my PC, with my computer. I had a very, very bad virus on my computer. My God, it was a killing virus. It almost destroyed every information I had on my computer. Uh, and even I have an antivirus, but it didn't detect it, so I had to install another antivirus, and a friend helped me also. So it was a mess to get the machine clean, and I could do it right on time because time is so fast. And uh, yeah, but I'm here, and I will do more live streams. So don't worry, I won't wait another year. So let's wanna today. Okay, about what you wanna talk. I mean, it's all about you. I mean, I'm the messenger. I open the door and live stream it, but you're actually the special guests here. So so tell us what you want to talk about.
Well, I would like to get Renzo to talk specifically more about his the information that he has about what you can do for your health, because
Okay.
many people's health has been impacted really negatively by the chemtrails.
Right.
And I have talked to him on several occasions, so I have taken notes, but I don't have specific information. And I had a look at his website, and it's in Norwegian, so it's a little bit difficult to navigate for me.
Okay. Good, Renzo. Yeah. Now it's you are there. Let me put the transmission here. Okay. Now it's your time. Okay.
I just, I just heard what you were talking with Dane Wigington,
Yeah, I
and
was live with him a while ago. Exactly.
yeah, what you were talking about. And Dane said as well that a lot of people are going sick over there and that the air is totally polluted.
Right.
And one information I just got today is that in America now, they know officially that in women, the lung cancer rate is higher than breast cancer now.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, that's official right now. That's official by doctors and by Congress, scientific meetings. They talk about it, and
Yeah.
and this is actually something that's going on everywhere. And we are just here, or we have it still, and it looks like a big flu. They call it a multiple virus infection, and for me, it's just something that it's to laugh about, and I don't believe in that. I don't believe actually in viruses, yeah. And so there is this big problem going on with the people. They have diarrhea, they are casting up, and they have nose problems, totally closed. They get sinus problems. The eyes are burning and pushing behind the eyes, a lot of pressure. The ears, they get totally stuck ears, and they can try to do what they want. They don't open. Headache and neck stiffness, breathing problems at all, and they are really, really tired, these people. I was one of them from the 2nd of January, and I'm still in and out a little bit, but I'm back like 60 to 80%. And other people are still struggling from Christmas. So it's it's something really going on. And I saw before Christmas, I saw the sky in Norway, and one day they called it a perlmutt sky. The perlmutt sky, which is like the shell. Inside of the shell, you have all these colors, and the sky had some clouds, and it was like chem bombs. Yeah, the plane flew by, and suddenly appeared a cloud, and I was outside, and so I could see it. And some friends made some pictures and photos of that, and it was an amazing colored sky in the clouds. It did directly reflect the colors, and it was a day that a lot of people were talking about HARP system and all this stuff going on with electromagnetic waves. And the meteorologists, they just brought it out as a phenomena, like every 10 years it can happen. And but then I found out it's been happening in England. It's been seen in Germany, it's been seen in Norway, so something bigger was going on over Europe. It was not only just a local phenomena,
Yeah.
And after I seen that, I said to a friend directly, I said, when these colors appear, I think a lot of people will get sick now. And just a few days later, it came through that a lot of people got sick.
Okay.
It was actually amazing what was to see.
Yeah, the colors in the sky, we also have it sometimes here in Mexico. And what do you think? Why is that happening, or what is it? Do you have some explanation?
It's a direct reflection of frequencies inside metal particles. If you take barium, for example, barium is being used in our normal life now in the LED, in the LED bulbs. When you're using LED, then it makes a green color actually. And when you see barium in a microscope, in a dark field microscope, it's not red. It's not green. It's red. So the reflection is a different one. What it does, if you give it a little bit of input of some frequencies, or if you are just watching on it with light reflection, and if you see the sunshine when it's on a certain angle, then you have sometimes clouds in different highness. So you see the higher clouds darker with a reflection of the lower clouds. And that is actually because of the aluminum particles, they say, which are lower in the atmosphere and coming down. So the sun is reflecting on the top of them. So the sun doesn't reach anymore the ground as it did before. And this is a problem now with a D vitamin production in people. We don't get the D vitamins anymore like we had, so we're all in deficit right now with D vitamins, with B12. B12 is actually absorbed from the certain metals, So a lot of animals been found in Sweden, like 70 elk has been found, moose. It was 2 years ago, and they made a quick test in the blood. And what they saw is there was no B1, no B12 in these animals. And the same happened with the fish, and no one is talking about. When all this massive dying of the fish in the world is happening, they checked them, and there was no vitamins in them. And
incredible.
And all the birds are just flying, falling from the skies. There is a big problem with them.
Right, I have seen pictures and even videos of this,
It's everywhere. They are just falling down in millions, and suddenly they checked them, and they had a deficit in B12, and and now I heard from a doctor in Australia that he got all times this pain every day, and he was years now with pain in the muscles, and suddenly he finds a doctor, he makes a check, and he had no D, he had no B12, and he had no testosterone. So he just gave him some injections, and the next morning he was pain-free.
Wow.
Yeah, we know that frequencies and metals can reduce the testosterone, and if you are a man and you have muscles and you need to work, you need the testosterone, to have the power.
And what is the solution, or do you? what I understood, you have some I don't know, you know how to cure or whatever.
Yeah, you know, the cure is one thing, but the other one is a big prevention that me and Barbara were talking about as well. It is like you must continuously detox your body.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of ways to detox the body, but the knowledge is actually to know when to do what. It's not
Okay.
just taking one substance and continuously going with that one. It can help you for a while, and then suddenly you have again symptoms. But
Uh-huh.
then it's only because something else is in the front. It's not anymore in the back.
Wow.
For example, if you have an aggressive bacteria in your body,
Yeah.
and this one makes you pain and makes you headache and some other symptoms, then it can happen that I give you a high load of heavy metals, which are poison, and poisoning your body. Suddenly, you get the symptoms from the heavy metals, and the bacteria is even depressed. So you suppress the bacterial infection because it's a poison environment in you. And when you're cleaning up from the heavy metals that you found, then suddenly the bacteria after 1 week can resource. They can grow again, you know, and they can in influence of microwaves, Wi-Fi, mobile phones, radar
Yeah.
is one. Then you can have baby phones, for example. They're sending all the time. You know, the little one from the baby is sending all the time, and the mother has got one on the belt,
Right.
and only if the baby is awake it will ring. You know, and all these frequencies, they
Yeah.
are making the bacteria even aggressive. So in the moment they get aggressive, they are producing neurotoxins to defend themselves against what you are doing against them. And doctors don't look on that. They just see like, oh, you have a candida infection.
Right.
Yeah, candida. And if you have a candida, like a large intestine full of candida, it is not the candida that you should kill. It's all times the wrong thing to do. You know? You should detox from the heavy metals because candida actually is the sponge that saves your life. It looks like there is too much candida, but the candida actually grows and absorbs the toxins from the body, not to make them go back into the bloodstream, absorbed by the large intestine, you know, and going back to the liver. And if you have parasites and they find like, oh, you have this and this and this type of parasites in your body, we must kill it with antibiotics, that's even wrong. The parasites being found in people today, and they made a check of the environment where they actually live, so the tissue. They tested the virus, the parasite, and they tested the tissues. The tissue had a certain amount of aluminum, a certain amount of other stuff, but the parasite actually had 100 to 250 times higher levels than the tissue where they are living. So they are like vacuum cleaners in the body, and they are absorbing all that stuff and keeping it into themselves. So if you kill the parasite breaks, and all this metal stuff comes back to your body. So you get a heavy metal intoxicity, in the intoxication in that moment. Yeah, so we must look on a lot of things in the moment that symptoms are coming, and we see more and more and more tired people. We see more and more people which are losing the mind. They forget things quickly. I had the same problem, and then I went to Germany to wash my blood after I broke down completely. I could hardly walk 10 meters. About 2 years ago from now, I could hardly
Excuse
walk.
me, Renzo, you know the washing of the blood, is that called chelation therapy in English?
You can search, and you're gonna find stuff written in their original name. It's an apheresis.
Say that again.
Apheresis.
Apheresis.
Apheresis. Yeah, is a treatment's name. And this treatment in Germany, that's actually the only place in the world we know. You can get an appointment by calling them. You know, you just dial the number or you write an email and they give you an appointment. So you can go, or you must pay cash. But it's a way, because if you do it in a hospital somewhere where they have the machines, you will never get a normal appointment. You know, it's really difficult to get a treatment there. It's actually an old story. It's 35 years old now in this year. It's from the old Minamoto syndrome. when the people had this accident that a bay in Japan got actually exposed to methyl mercury from there was a big industry, and they just put all this methyl mercury directly in the bay, you know, over a big tube, and the fish got totally poisoned. So the fishermen, they did take the daily life from the sea, and they took the fish home. They did eat it, they did sell it, and all the people who did eat it, they got actually black hands and black feet, and got really sick. So there was a lot of amputation of hands and stuff, you know. And one doctor tried to save these people and to find a way how we could save the hands and the feet, and so he began to take a sponge of the Pacific, and he grow it up, because it was actually a sponge that loves heavy metals and other dirt, that we must get it out of our body, and the sponge is loving it, so it eats it, and it lives from it. And so a natural way of absorbing the dirt from your bloodstream when you are putting your blood into the machine, and then it comes back to you. You just lose a few hundred mil, like 200 mil of blood plasma. You will lose, but this blood plasma is so highly toxic that if a drop falls on the floor and the dog comes by and it licks this drop, it will be sick next day.
Wow.
It's highly toxic stuff. I have now 8 bags at home of 100 milliliters from 8 washings I did. And I can only say to everybody, like, do it, because women get biologically about 10 years younger, and men get power back. And if you see what comes out of your body when you are attacked on that machine, you can't really believe it. You know, it's unbelievable that this oily stuff comes out, or if this protein stuff comes out. Because an example is, if you take a substance that is able to detox your body, that means it is attaching on that metals maybe, and then it brings the metal out of your body. But if you have the situation that you have the metal and there is proteins around the metal, your own proteins, then there is no way for these substances like chelation therapy and this to attach on the metal. And it's like a magnet, and you are trying to catch iron. It works until the iron is not surrounded by a big isolation. Yeah, and if there is a big isolation, then the isn't working anymore. You know, so it is the same happening in the body. And this stuff can only be washed out, or you must have something that breaks down the proteins which are surrounding them. And today we have another phenomenon. People don't look at this. It's called paramagnetism. Paramagnetic things are actually everything which is not ferromagnetic. Ferromagnetism is when you have iron and you bring a certain tension, so electricity, to the iron. In that moment, iron becomes magnetic. You have plus and minus. In presence of a ferromagnetic substance, everything else, like lithium, like aluminum, like manganese, like even magnesium and calcium, you know, everything becomes, after a long time, changing from inside of the atomic structure, becomes paramagnetic. It becomes like a ferromagnetic part, and it breaks only down if there is no ferromagnetic part next to it. So people to detox them, they have to take off to turn off the electricity. They have not the possibility to use a cell phone anymore. They have not the possibility to go in the city for a while, yeah, because there is Wi-Fi everywhere today. And so it's a much larger picture that we are now observing, and that we are helping people with our knowledge than most of the people think that it is.
Renzo, you know I think it's called chelation therapy. That's when you get your blood wash. Is that where you went in Medicinisches? I don't know how to pronounce this. Medizinisches Labor Bremen.
The
Is that the clinic
the
that you went to in Bremen? Because
no in
that's where
Bremen,
you had your blood.
no in Bremen actually it's only a lab that did the tests of my heavy metals. When
Okay,
they
so
found
that's the lab.
when, yeah, when they found aluminum, barium, strontium, and other things, and that's only a lab. So the blood washing is being done in South Germany in a city that is CHAM, Calm, it's called, and it's called in the area of Bayerischer Wald, yeah, the Bavarian forests, yeah, and it is 1.5 hour driving from Munich or from Nuremberg. So it's a good way to go with a plane, and then renting a car and driving 1.5 hour to them. It's actually a nice place, and the hotel where we
What's the
stay, it's a nice hotel, and so you can really rest after the washing. Hmm?
what's the name of the clinic?
The name of the clinic is you find it in the internet under INUS. It's INUS .di no, .de.
Okay, thank you. Could you, I remember you were talking about when people want to start a detox program, they should start with taking algae and zeolite. And there's a particular, you had said that they should take 120 to 160 a day. 120 to 160 of what measurement is that?
So there is a larger view to have on that. If you have amalgam fillings, yeah,
Say?
if you have silver mercury fillings in your mouth, you
Yeah?
you can't take the detoxing algae, because the detoxing algae called Chlorella perinoidosa or Chlorella vulgaris, both of them are able to mobilize the mercury and other metals from your mouth and bring them in your
Okay.
body. So that's the one. If you don't have this silver amalgam fillings in your mouth, then you can use this algae, and you should not take less than 60 little pills. This is
Say that again. I couldn't understand that. Repeat
you
the
should
quantity again.
you shouldn't take you should never take less than 60 of this algae pills. Yeah, this
The
is
60
minimum.
pills, but what's the measurement in, is it milligrams or how,
Actually, it's little pressed pills of that, and they are nearly all the same size in the whole world.
okay,
In gram, it would be about 24, 25 gram. That's minimum in a doses that you should take. And if you want to go on the safety way, on the safety side, then you take like 200. Okay. That
200 pills.
yeah, yeah. If I take it, I take 3, 4, 5, 6, 700. You know, I never take only 10 or 20 because I want to save my life. So I want to have a bigger sponge in the body to absorb mobilized things. This algae is actually mobilizing a lot of dirt. So we're talking about neurotoxins. We are talking about heavy metals, and actually, after a while, if you feel good with 200 3 times a day, then you can go down to 180 and you can try. And if you get dizzy, yeah, and dizzy and headache or something else, so you get some side effects, then you know you did take not enough. And you go back on a higher doses, and it will help you within 1 hour, and then you find out because it can actually mobilize so much in the bloodstream that it is overwhelming you, you know. And like I said, it can be that you are absorbing some metals like mercury with it, and suddenly the aluminum comes out of the tissue, and then or from the inside of the cells back to the tissue, and then in the bloodstream. So you get an overload of aluminum, but this algae is not able to absorb aluminum, so you need like zeolite to take it to take that aluminum up. And that's why I said you must know when to do what and how to change sometimes.
And the zeolite, what is, you said there's a particular measurement, a particular size of grain that people need to take so that it's effective.
Yeah, what we use is what we use actually after I've seen 10 different zeolites on the table, I never felt good with any one of them, so I never took it. And then I met some people and they had zeolite there, and I was like, wow, this one feels really good. What is the difference in that stuff? Why do I feel that one, you know, that it is okay? And then they explained me something that made me understand. They drilled after 13 years of research. Yes, 13 years of research and searching a good zeolite, they brought it on the market. And I jumped on that. They have actually a size of 3.8 micrometers. Yeah, this is not
Micrometers or microcentimeters?
micrometer. This is not too big to enter your bloodstream, so it's small enough, but it's too big to enter your tissue. So it stays in the bloodstream. So you are absorbing the stuff in the blood. And if the blood gets emptier, then you have an overload next to the blood, which is a tissue. Then the tissue can give something, like the osmosis. Osmosis is working in the same way. Then the tissue gives some dirt to the blood. And then you can continue cleaning. So you're just taking away. And suddenly you get cleaner in the tissue and from the cells, because the cells can give the dirt back to the tissue when this is lower in the amount. And so you're going down in steps, yeah, like a river, like the Grand Canyon. After millions of years, suddenly it was 1,000 meters deeper, you know, because the water took away a lot of sediment and a lot of stuff. And then the walls broke down. And so it got larger and larger and larger. The same is happening in our body with metals, with neurotoxins, with solvents, yeah. We're having pesticides, we're having insecticides, and all this stuff right now is having a synergistic effect. So 1 + 1 can be 100, plus 1 can be 10 million, plus 1 can be an infinitive number. And it's not that you have 4 different things and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. No, they can amplify, you know, really badly amplify. If you bring together mercury or aluminum with testosterone, that's a direct killing for the neurons. There is a lot of research out. In the moment that they brought aluminum, they brought mercury next to the testosterone of little boys, they could see that nerve cells were dying immediately. It's not a slowly dying because you are poisoned. And there is a lot of synergistic effects by the metals in your body. Once it was the lead and the mercury, which was the most dangerous one. Now they found out and they understand even that the aluminum is in front of that one, much, much, much bigger, you know.
Yeah, that's pretty overwhelming information there, Renzo. What about people who have mercury in their mouth? What do you recommend for people that have mercury fillings if they don't want to get too toxic while they're detoxing?
Number one is you must take that stuff out. That's number one I recommend, and I stay with my feet on the ground. I'm not flying. I don't say, okay, even for that, guys, we have the best solution. You must understand that if you have this toxic stuff in your mouth, then mercury, if you have a drop of mercury on your table in the house, in the kitchen, you can see it makes a bubble. It forms like a little bubble and a little ball. And suddenly you come back after 1 week and you say, oh, it's gone. But why is it gone? It's not that someone cleaned the table. It just evaporated by air temperature of 22, 23 degrees Celsius. It is like, what is it, 70, 72 in America, Fahrenheit. It's evaporating and it just goes over in a gas. Yeah, it's a mercury gas and it's highly toxic, this stuff. When the normal mercury is there on the table, you can even stick a finger in. Yeah, you can play with it. It's not getting absorbed in the same way, but if it is a gas form, it just gets directly into your body and it's poisoning everything. And imagine in your mouth, it's a higher temperature than in the kitchen. And your amalgam fillings, they're getting used because you are chewing, you are drinking warm stuff like a hot tea. You are enjoying a hot tea, but because it's healthy. But actually what you're doing is you're heating up the amalgam filling, yeah, the mercury silver filling, and all this stuff is evaporating in your mouth. So what we know, there is a normal rule in the world. Each of your fillings, so one filling, is giving you 1.1 molecules of mercury for each 24 hours. So if you have 12 fillings, then you get 13.2 molecules of mercury for 24 hours. But this is for each of your body cells. So we're talking about 60 billion cells. Yeah, what the upload of your cells is amazing. It's incredible, you know. So you need to detox the body, of course, in the moment that you're taking out your fillings. But if you have not the possibility to take out your fillings, then you must take detoxing substances which are not mobilizing anything in your body. So you take zeolite, you can take microsilica. It's really expensive stuff. 3 grams of microsilica costs around, let me think, it's like 150 euros or something. But it helps. Yeah, each of these little molecules of microsilica can make possible to attach 200 other molecules around. This is amazing. You know, this little one molecule can absorb so much around and transport it out of your body. So in a crisis that you're getting headache because you're poisoned or something, then just take microsilica. You take 100 milligram. And, you know, after half an hour, if it is the poison, then you are doing much better with your headache, the things, yeah. The symptoms are changing totally then. But, of course, it's an expensive thing. And
Which brand of zeolite, sorry, Renzo, which brand of zeolite do you sell on your website? Can you be more specific about the brand?
We have this, an imported thing, and I must really think if I remember the name, but you can Google it, you can search it on the internet. There is a company here, it sells it, it's Baldron, BALDRON.
Okay.
Baldrum.
Yeah.
And you should get the size, which is 60, you should take 6 to 10 grams a day. Is that right?
If you take, like recommended on the box, it's 1 gram. But what we know is that's on the box. And we know that even written about chlorella and this stuff, they must write 3 to 15 chlorella, you know, and then, but people get really sick from that. So the recommended doses is from doctors recommended in zeolite is 3 times a day, 2 gram.
What about, sorry.
I took up to 20 grams without problems.
Say that again, I couldn't hear you, Renzo.
I took up to 20 grams of zeolite in a day, and I had no problems.
You had no side effects?
No side effects is good. I had positive effects, we can say, because the minerals in this volcanic ash is coming out. So it comes into your body and your body can use it. And if the molecular cage of the zeolite is the right cage, it's a good cage, then it doesn't break under any pH in your body. So it doesn't break with a pH 2 in the stomach or in the large intestine or something. So if it doesn't break, it is only able to absorb. But you don't get any heavy metals from it, but it is absorbing the heavy metals that you have in your body.
Right, so then your body can release the heavy metals through the intestine. Because my understanding is that the heavy metals accumulate in your intestine, is that right?
Yeah, if there is a deposit, it can be everywhere in the body. Actually, it is everywhere. But where do you have more and where do you have less? And where is the body detoxing it by itself? And we know today that if you have a chelator, like if you take DMPS, yeah, DMPS is a substance which actually is a double glutathione molecular chain. The Russians invented it in the 1950s. So if you inject that in your vein, then you're detoxing. And if you search the heavy metals over that DMPS shot, if you search it in the urine, if you go to toilet and you pee, if you find some levels which are higher, then you must think that this levels is actually almost 10% of what actually is being detoxed over the stool, yeah, when you go to toilet. So the way of searching in the blood is one, and it's not so accurate. The other one in the urine is not so accurate, but people should go to toilet and just bring a little bag to the doctor and send it in a lab, you know. Then they would find high amount of detoxified stuff from your body. And the chlorella does the same, and zeolite does the same, because the kidneys don't want to open for this dirt. Imagine you have a nice filter system, and it's called a kidney. Suddenly there is coming heavy metals in the front door, and they knock on the door. The kidney says, "Hey, I don't like you because you are damaging my tissue. Then I can't do my function." Yeah, so it just close the door, and the kidneys are not working anymore, so as they should. So if you take that stuff in front of the door away, your urine will change immediately because the kidney is doing a totally different work.
Right. So this is always going to be really overloading the system. Of course, we can't deal with this level of toxicity. So I think a lot of people, I've noticed this winter, as Hans was saying earlier, that a lot of people have been sick
Yes.
since, as you were saying, since Christmas with the flu.
Yeah, right.
Which I call flu, you know, in apostrophe marks, like they call it the flu and I call it chem flu.
Yeah, I call it the cam flu really, because it's not like a flu like I know it when I was young, when I lived in Germany. Even in Germany, where it's much more colder than in Mexico City, because we have minus degrees in Germany. In Mexico, it's not even going under 0 degrees. So, and I was living in Germany with a lot of more cold, but I didn't get sick every year. Sometimes I not even got sick for 6 years ahead. The only thing, of course, the nose is running, and you get cold, but you don't get fiber, or you don't fever, no fiber. You don't get fever. You don't get you're not coughing at all, etc. And here it's much warmer, and you start coughing. You know, one day you're just okay. You go to sleep. The next morning you wake up coughing. How is that? I mean, how is that possible that you're getting sick without being even in contact with somebody? That's why I'm thinking about the chemtrails, because it's the only way that I breathe something, or that I put something in my body. You know, only eating or drinking, but it's more the air. What I think. I don't know. I might be wrong, but it's kind of strange that you're getting sick without actually being in contact with another sick person. You know. And many people
Well,
are getting
there was
sick
a
now.
very interesting article Zen Gardner wrote about what's actually in the chemtrails and how so many people are getting sick right now.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that he said was that one of the substances that's being sprayed is carcinogenic.
Hmm. Do you have the link so I can open it here?
Yeah, I can send you the article.
Ah, okay,
I've
excellent.
got the link. I'm looking for the name of the website that Renzo mentioned.
Ah, okay.
Valdron. I can't find it. Valdron.
N like North.
N. N like North Pole. Okay, just a second.
And that one substance is carcinogenic is not true, because we are talking about a lot of stuff which is in there. And you know, if you see today the fallout which is in the west coast of the Pacific of the United States, there is a lot of people being found now with cesium-137, yeah, in the plasma. And so that one. And if you go to the east coast, there is other stuff, yeah. If you are overloaded with a certain heavy metal, the whole metabolism is changing in that place, and of course, then everything makes cancer, makes stuff, and some of the cancers showed up in the lung, and when they looked deeper and under a microscope and they made a biopsy, it was actually no cancer; it was a parasite. Yeah. and then they fix it with a certain antibiotic, and it's a lot of things going on right now that most of the doctors don't have time or don't want to watch on it. A chirurg when he's making surgery, he earns a lot of money by doing that, and if the bed in the hospital is empty, he just goes in that direction. And other doctors, which are a little bit alternative, or they are open because they had a special case in their own family, then they are looking on different things, and they are listening even to those who are looking larger on the things. We are not specialists to look into a cell, but we see the stuff going on around, the microwaves, the electricity, the frequencies of that. In America, it's 60 hertz technique. In Europe, it's 50 hertz technique. And we know today, and I was one of the only guys who were reading that, like the people that I talk to, like doctors and researchers. In 1999, I wrote an article. I did read an article, and this article actually was talking about Lyme disease, Borrelia burgdorferi. And the Russian researchers, they wrote that Borrelia exposed to different frequency, like 10 hertz, 50 hertz, 60 hertz, 100 hertz, it was most aggressive and producing toxic stuff to protect themselves by 50 and 60 hertz. So we are using the worstest wavelengths we can use in the electric current. Yeah, so that's one thing. And then you see the luxury that we live in. There is a lot of people, they have 55 lamps, bulbs and stuff in the house, and next to the place where they are reading a book, there is one lamp, and they have a heating system in the chair. And when they are sleeping, they go to bed with a blanket, heating it. So imagine the bacteria in our body when they get directly 50 hertz or 60 hertz. That is an extreme point. If you look even into the brain research, the brain research shows up with high beta waves in that 50, 60 hertz. Beta is actually the totally stress for the body. In the moment of beta, that you're having beta waves in your brain, you can't learn, you can't listen. You're just stressed and getting aggressive, more and more tired. So what we want actually is people and bacteria lower than beta. Yeah,
That's
so
really
about 8 to 16 hertz, that would be okay, And they found actually that with 10 hertz or with 100 hertz in the electric current and in the frequencies, the Lyme disease bacteria were actually calm. They were not producing so much neurotoxins. They are producing neurotoxins because they think that you are feeding them with antibiotics to kill them. When you expose them to Wi-Fi, when you expose them to electric current from home, when you are exposing them to like a certain kind of heat you are producing in your body, because we're talking about water molecules, and even the bacteria are made out of water apart. Now, actually, they found out another thing that last year, that Borrelia burgdorferi is not defending itself against our superoxide. Yeah, our defending system is a superoxide from the immune system, but it defends themselves not with iron to make the superoxide dismutase, but it does use manganese. So in that moment, it shows up that we can't treat a certain bacteria anymore, or that maybe we could never do that, with our normal immune system. Once we are exposed to that bacteria is defending itself, it just takes a coat on, and then it's okay for it. And that's scary, because people don't look on this. Because I talked to a lot of researchers, I talked to a lot of Lyme disease doctors, even the best in the world right now, the ILAs, yeah, some of them, and somehow it didn't arrive to them, I think. Yeah, they were just watching at me like, hey, what are you talking about, And I think it will come out, because I said the year 2014 is the year of manganese, because they even found a lot of manganese in fallout, in rain water. How comes that you have 500 times higher level in rainwater than it should be? It's just there. It's been measured in some countries, It's been measured by normal people like us. So we did some rainwater tests as well here, and what we saw was a totally strange pH of the rainwater. If you have distilled water, yeah, evaporate, distilled water, there should be a normal pH that we call like 7.3, 7.2, 7.4. So that is normally distilled water. And if it is 6.8 coming down, okay, we can explain it because there is some dust in the air from the industry and some other stuff. So it changed the pH and it makes it actually a little bit toxic and brings it more acid. But a pH of 3.9, that's totally crazy. That's even worse than the time of the acid rain in Germany when the forests were dying, you know, in the 70s and 80s. That's totally crazy because in that time the acid rain, and even Hans can remember that, it was 4.2, 4.7, you know, and you know what is written now in Wikipedia. If you read it about acid rain and normal rain pH, they say it's totally normal to have rain today of 4.75, 4.7. And I say, what? This is acid.
Of course.
3.9, like we measured it up here. That's like lemon juice. Yeah, you can use that stuff to clean oil and everything from the road. That's amazing. And in that same moment, there is another phenomena. Aluminum becomes the same toxicity class as mercury, the same poison class, class 4. So it's a dangerous metal then. It's not that you are having like everything that is lower than 4.6 makes aluminum become in that class. So if you have 5.5 pH in the rain and you are absorbing aluminum with 5.5, it can go into your body, it stays there, and it's not so toxic as it is in the moment of 3.9. Yeah, so there is different days as well in the health situation by breathing in the stuff like the fallout, you know, that we have today. We're talking about chemtrails. We're talking about stuff that goes around the world. It can be sprayed now in America, and it comes up here with jet streams. So some days you have stuff arriving in a highness of 500 feet, and some days you have stuff they blow out on 13,000 meters, you know, and then it comes down. And the other days we could really see the planes were so low. I have not seen that so often. They were so low, and they were spraying and spraying and spraying, and these machines were no commercial machines. You could see between the middle wings and the back, the tail, there was actually the stuff coming out somehow. It looked like torpedoes hanging on the machines. So we were with normal eyes watching up in the sky. We could detect that there was something on the plane hanging. Yeah, it was totally white planes. That's what it looked like. And even normal people now are looking up in the sky, and actually there's not enough of these people standing up because with all the toxic stuff, you're getting tired. You can't stand up and make a kind of revolution for yourself, for your health, and to stand up to say like, hey, now it's enough. Or hey, guys, what's going on? Let's walk to the government. Let's walk in front of the door. Let's go to the health department. Let's go to some places, you know, whatever happens to the meteorological guys. But nothing happens. Nothing really happens. They are so stubborn in that moment that they just can't stand up anymore. They're getting really, really, really tired, these guys. You know? And more of them getting sick. We can see it, and we actually see people coming with ME syndrome, which is a chronic fatigue syndrome. So sometimes the bacteria is in the front, sometimes the metal is in the front, sometimes it's a trauma, it's a situation of a traumatic thing. But I tell you, it's all times the same compounds, but it's what is in the front, what has to be taken away in the front, and what is the second page, and what is the third page. Then we use a kind of testing, a way of kinesiologic testing from Dr. Dick Kling. That's actually in the moment the best kinesiology that we know, and it's a fantastic system. You can see what is a problem if you are finding it, and you can see actually what is helping against it. And if the body is reacting with stress-freeness, then we know it is the good point for the body to recover. Because if you take the stress away from the body, that means that the body says, oh, good, you found me, you found the problem, you found a medicine for me, which is a herb, which is a zeolite, which is a algae or something else. We don't use normal chemicals. Only if the antibiotic is testing better than our herbs, then we use even antibiotics. So we send the people to the doctors. In that moment, you see the results, yeah, that someone is changing. And there you find that you were on the right way, because we can have headache with all three of us can have headache. So I was poisoned by something else out from the sky. You did drink too much yesterday evening, and Hans did fall on his head. And if you go to a normal doctor, he gives you a pill against headache. Yeah, he doesn't look like what's the history of your headache. He doesn't try to search. You know, they don't have time today, the doctors. Most of them, it's not their fault. They really don't have time if they don't work with the other patients, and they just give one. In Germany, actually, the average 2 or 3 years ago, it was 1 minute 40 seconds for a patient. Otherwise, the doctor was going broken. 1 minute 40 seconds, you know, from hello, how are you, what happens? They sit down, they say something, and he begins to type in the computer, and he gives a signature, and then the patient says goodbye. That's 1 minute 40 seconds they had. That was crazy.
Well,
But that's the situation of today. That's the situation that we have today in the world, you know.
yeah.
And then you see other doctors, they take time, 1 hour, and they talk to you. But then you get a bill of $1,600. Yeah, that's the truth, Hans. It's for me, it's crazy that they do that. We take 1 hour to 2 hours of time for each of the guys who are to us.
Yeah.
We talk to them. We hear the history. What happened? Where did you work? Where are you working? What are you doing? Where are you living? Can you see a mobile phone mast? Can you see this? Can you see that? Oh, you're living next to the electric central station, you know, whatever it is, and you are all this stuff. We just try to find out by talking. Then we begin to test. Then we go in other regions. Then we find something. Then we go higher, you know, in the testings. And then we're detoxing the people. We give them something what is antibacterial, even if it is garlic. Yeah, it's a deep frozen garlic. We help the people, and the sinus gets better. And garlic is actually a really wonderful stuff if you have the right. It's not garlic. It's not garlic. You know, you need a high amount of allicin, and we have a garlic with 24,000 ppm of allicin.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what is that?
When you're having a little piece of garlic and you are cleaning it up and you put it in your mouth and you are chewing it for 2 minutes, not less, for 2 minutes chewing with the pressure of the teeth and with the salivation of your mouth, it makes a chemical reaction. Aloin becomes allicin. Allicin is actually a high, large, broad antibiotic, what we can say, a natural antibiotic. So if you go today and you are buying some garlic capsules with allicin, you must search how much allicin is in there. So the best one that we had was 24,000 parts per million. And now the next one will be 16,000, because there is actually no one anymore to produce this high quality because of the price. People are not paying anymore so much, and they say, oh, if I need that and I must pay so much, then I take something else from America, importation, and it's even good, but it's only maybe 8,000 or 16,000, you know. So the front of a knife, the front of a knife can be so powerful that people get a Herxheimer reaction, like if they would have eaten a package of antibiotic. So powerful it is.
So where do you get this garlic?
We get it of an importation, and the origin is from Taiwan. From Taiwan, it arrives to Germany, and then we get it from Germany. And you can search that in the website of this Baldron, and I think it's baldron.org.
I found the website, Renzo. I think it's in Norwegian.
It's in English, Norwegian, and German, I think. You must see.
Okay, I'll check again.
It's interesting because everything that we are testing and that we're using, they're importing for us. So it's so difficult to get the stuff into Norway because there is the custom and this and and a company must have a konto in the customs. So if a package arrives to you privately, then they check, then they send you a bill, then you must pay the bill, then they give you the package. And in a company it's different. They see the invoice and the package arrives, and then they take automatically the money from your konto, from your
Count.
that you have a deposit by them, and you must fill it all times up. So it's much easier to get the things in and on the right day, and not to be all times under this radiation. Because if you take anything that you're sending around the world right now by post, like a letter or something else, it goes through a radiation system. So it is using X-rays, and if you're having the largeness, the knowledge of the largeness of the X-ray, the microwaves, the UVC, the UVB, UVA, the normal visible light, and then you understand that everything that goes under X-rays gets changed. And the molecular structure is one. Then some vitamins get broken, some proteins break down, some enzymes are breaking down. So the stuff that is arriving to you is not the original stuff anymore. And if you put it in your hand luggage and you're flying with a plane, they check it on the airport. You must take your stuff out, and they put it through a machine and they look into it. How do they do that? This is X-rays. It's a kind of microwaves. It's a kind of, the microwaves begin with 300 megahertz and they arrive up to 300 gigahertz. So it's a large spectrum of microwaves. What we are using in the microwave oven is actually 2.45 gigahertz. That is the best frequency to use to warm up water molecules, to give them a higher spin, in the atomic structure, to give them a higher spin. So water molecules are vibrating faster. And in that moment, you know that water molecules by the spin are warming up. Imagine, why did they take this frequency? Because it's the best one for warming up that. The same frequency is being used by Wi-Fi. Why do they use the worstest frequency for our bodies? Our body is about 70% of water. They use the same frequency and they make whole cities gratis Wi-Fi. You can log in everywhere. Trondheim in Norway was the first city in Norway to be completely covered with Wi-Fi. Imagine you are going out of your door and you are directly impacted from a frequency that spins up your atomic structure in your water molecules. Mm-hmm. You're warming up. Your proteins and the enzymes, 143 out of 200 measured proteins and enzymes in the cell died completely. They were just cut on the molecular structure. They were gone. That's amazing. And it's been found out by researchers in Greece, in Athens. And they brought it out, and people like us, we jumped on that information because we didn't know it, but we had a proof now, and these guys were invited from all over the world. But normal doctors or hospitals, they don't look on that. There is the reason why people are breaking down, why people are getting sick. And if you take a cell phone on your head, inside of that field, if it is 3G, if it is 4G, if it is 1.8G, which is 1,800 megahertz, a 900, a 2100 one, or 2.41, it is not the thing that it is only the field that they are bringing out. The net is not only that one. Inside of that one is other frequencies. So we know that if you take a Wi-Fi frequency, there is another frequency of 300 meters. Then there is another one of 1,559 meters. And inside of that one is another one of 8.1 hertz. So 8.1 hertz is not a big problem. But 8.1 hertz can become a big problem in the moment that your body can't understand anymore the Earth frequency because it's too close. Schumann wave, 7.83 today, 7.84, is too close to 8.1. So our body is reacting and trying all the time to balance that frequency from the other one. And so it is going under stress. The body is going directly in stress if you are exposed to that frequencies. If we don't find a way, like now France has forbidden the frequencies for children under 3 years. So they are not allowed anymore to have in kindergarten, Wi-Fi, to block them out. Children under 14 are not allowed, like I saw, to buy cell phones. So the mother buys a cell phone and gives it to the child to control it when it goes to school and other things. And the child is not only doing that one, but it's surfing on Facebook, and so it gets exposed. An exposure of about 2 minutes with a cell phone makes the child not able anymore to learn for the next 2, 3, 4 hours. There is no possibility to learn something and to store that knowledge and to have the right and the left brain side working together. The conscious and the subconscious and all this gets totally distorted. But there is even a worse thing. That is the voltage-gated calcium channels. Professor Martin Paul, he was even here in Oslo, he was searching for electrohypersensitivity. Electrohypersensitivity is a syndrome that people react totally allergic. It's a totally allergic reaction, we can say, against exposure of these frequencies. It can be electric current, it can be Wi-Fi, it can be telephones, it can be radar, it can be everything, or all together. So in that moment, the body breaks down, people go in chronic fatigue, they look like junkies, and I know what I talk about because I had that problem, and now I'm back on 10% or 15% of sensitivity. So I can sit in front of a computer now and work a little bit on the computer, and when I get too much, I just go away. When there is different, if there is old light bulbs, I can handle them, I can look into them. If I have the new light bulbs, I can't look into them because the light is too white. And the blue spectrum is too strong for me. It goes directly in the corpus pineale, in the pineal gland, and it kills your melatonin production. So all these frequencies and the stuff that we are bringing together, and we give that to the children, to the brain. He showed that the electrohypersensitivity. He could prove that it has got not to do with number 1, number 2, number 3 of the problems, but it's all times one thing happening in the body. The voltage-gated calcium channels, which are little tubes inside of the cell, they are regulating our system in a certain millivolt range. And when you are having exposure to microwaves, this voltage-gated calcium channels open suddenly, and the calcium just drops on the floor. And it can't be in the cell on the right place where it should be. So this happens in less than 5 seconds from the moment of exposure. And this is really, really, really important to know. Less than 5 seconds and the whole process starts. It's not that, I was only 1 minute on the cell phone and my kid was next to me. The baby is sitting in a chair and gets the food from the mom, and the mom is with a cell phone next to it. The exposure of cell phone radiation makes cancer. It makes a lot of stuff. It can help with the Alzheimer's disease. It can make a lot of stuff because aluminum in the brain, aluminum in the body absorbs the frequencies. And when it absorbs the frequencies, it changes them in voltage. The voltage makes this calcium channel problem. It makes another problem as well. If you have a higher tension because the frequencies get absorbed by all the metals in your body, the iron becomes ferromagnetic, and we were there before. So everything else in presence of the ferromagnetic becomes paramagnetic. And you have clusters.
It becomes what, sorry? Ferromagnetic becomes what?
If you have the ferromagnetic parts in your body because of the absorption of the microwaves, then the microwaves get absorbed and form automatically into electric tension. This is a phenomena. This is a phenomena you can see in a microwave oven when you put a plate in soup and you forget the spoon to take it out. Then the spoon makes lightnings. This is only because that the microwaves get absorbed and makes tension. So then you have the little lightnings, and the same is happening in your inside of your body with all the mineral stuff that you need. And you have barium, you need. You have strontium in the body, you need. You have iron, you need ferritin and all this stuff. In the moment that you are having a different tension in the body, the iron becomes magnetic. Once it is magnetic, it absorbs more iron, and it makes this one magnetic as well. Every other thing which is paramagnetic becomes a kind of magnetic and gets in clusters. So you are closing your vein system, you are closing the tissue, you are forming up little bulbs, little balls in your body, and doctor says, oh, this is cancer. But if you check it, it can be cancer. It can be a cluster of macrophages, which is actually absorbing and eating a lot of these metals, and they don't go around in the body because the body doesn't want them to be around. So they make little prisons, we can say. A tumor is a prison, a tumor is a prison for certain cells and a saving system for the other rest of the body. So if you want to get out of that story, no electricity, no microwaves, detoxing the body from the heavy metals, and then looking on the bacteria and parasites in the second stage. Of course, there is as well, if you have a good doctor, he can bring you nearly to death because he treats everything in the same time. And then suddenly you're coming out of that, oh, I'm sick, because you're just doing quicker things, and he's got maybe the possibility to inject things which we are not able. Yeah, the law is just like we are not able to do everything what we maybe could do. Yeah? I hope this information is not too much for even for the listeners or for you guys. This is our daily life,
Right. I mean,
I think it's very interesting, Renzo, because I think I was reading that the cancer rate is going up exponentially in the Western world, especially so, of course, in Japan because of Fukushima. But I think people really need to know what's going on, and they don't understand. I mean, I have tried to warn my family about Wi-Fi for kids. And they don't even they don't believe me.
Yeah, that's a family problem. That's all times a family problem. At home, the prophet is never a prophet. The prophet is an idiot at home. But when you go far enough away and you are meeting other people, they say like, hey, she must know something because she comes from far away, Mm-hmm. And the second opinion, the second possibility is another one. If you take money for it, you must all times take 5 times more than the best doctor does take. Then if you are more expensive, you must be really important. Mm-hmm. People have to get fooled. People have to get fooled. We are not doing that. We are not taking much of money. We are not rich. We are just we can say surviving. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we have our food. I make my own wine. I make my own things. So now I'm downstairs and I just transferred some wine. And but it's actually the true. If you are showing up that you are going around and you're driving a nice car and you are dressed nice and your hair is cut and you are shaved, then you are a better guy than someone with long hair and doing other things and being really intuitive, because long hair makes you intuitive. It helps you. A nice study from the Indians, the North American guys, has been made by the army when they was searching new Boy Scouts. They took some of these Indian guys, and what happened is these people were so good that they could sleep on a tree, next to a tree, And before another soldier did reach them, they were awake, they were waiting for them, and then they got them. But then they cut their hair because they said, okay, you accepted in the military. Then they have cut their hair. In that moment, they were not able to do the same job anymore. So these guys actually today, by law, can't cut their hair when they are in the army, in the military, in America. And everybody else has to cut their hair, and they are not allowed to. Isn't that nice? And we, like healers, you know, some people know or say that I'm a healer in this. We have long hair, we have maybe a little bit of beard or something, and maybe if you cut that stuff, we're not able anymore to feel, to have intuition or something else. My intuition brought me out of my problems. I went in that way of the blood washings. I went in the detoxing programs that actually I did it by myself. I talked to some doctors and they said, okay, what is your explanation? Why? And so I did that. I did explain, and they understood what and why I wanted it. And then one found a gene defect, a genetic defect of detoxing that heavy metal stuff. I don't think this is actually a genetic defect from the birth, but I think with a certain overload and in presence of certain bacteria and parasites and other things and exposure to electrosmog, you can't have a normal functioning genetic system.
That's right.
Genes, DNA, this stuff is so deep inside of the cell that actually they are not really connected to our autonomous nerve system. Autonomous nerve system is something that you have stomach, and inside of your stomach is forming cancer. Then you can feel it, something is wrong. But if you have it on a different basis, you can make blood tests. You will never find that you have a cancer in the body if it is on a DNA level forming up, because the DNA is not connected to that. It's a totally different system. It's like a high voltage and a low voltage system. It's totally different. It's like sitting in a truck in the front or sitting in the back where you're loading, you know. When the truck driver is driving, he doesn't hear what you are talking about in the back. So that's the same happened in our systems.
So we all know, the three of us were quite aware of the problems that are happening right now. What do you think we can do to get people to listen to us? Because when I say I don't think you've got the flu, I think you have chemtrail flu, to people that even know that chemtrails exist, but they don't even get it. I mean, I've got a couple of friends that have been sick now since Christmas. It's the middle of February. That has never happened. I've never seen that happen before. So I think whatever they're doing, they've been intensifying, or either that or the people are no longer able to tolerate the level of toxicity which is in our environment. So the problem is getting people to wake up.
From one side, it's like with your family that you said. They don't want to listen. That's one side.
Yeah.
The other side, because they have their nice life, they are fixed with their life and with their TV and with their Facebook. And if you ask them like, hey, how is the weather? Oh, I must check it in the internet. I say, why don't you look up? Yeah. So they don't do that anymore. And yeah, this is no joke. They found in Japan, actually in South Korea it was. Sorry, it was South Korea. They found a young guy, 25 years old or something, and he had a neck problem. So he went to a doctor and he made an X-ray, and then he made some other tests, and he said, you have a neck like the spinal. It's like a 70, 75-year-old guy. Because by watching down on the screen of the iPhone, he actually was playing in the evenings 3-4 hours with the iPhone. So the radiation is one thing. The blue light from the iPhone made another thing. He had no melatonin in the body anymore, and all these things. So you are forming your body directly with the iPhones and with the stuff, you know, the screens. And this is happening all over. So some people don't want to listen. Some people are too busy. And some other people have the problem that they must go 8, 9, 10 hours working in a fabric, in a company. and actually they are staying in front of a machine and they do all the whole day the same thing. So when they are coming out of there, they're totally burned out. They have a shower and they come home, they sit down, they take some food, and then they watch the next TV channel. So if you talk to them, they are not even able to listen. And I think there is not a lot of people with a good brain, a good functioning brain, to understand this whole package that I'm talking about right now. Some of them did not try to think about and to connect the things. And for myself, I can understand that it's not easy to connect all these things, even if you have 24-hour time and watching on these things. I met a lot of people in the world, and they came out of different channels. They came from different scientific points. Some were lab rats, I say. They were sitting in front of the microscope. Some of them were just having machines and measuring things with electromagnetic fields. The next one was a water researcher. The next one was a chemist. The next one was, a biophysicist. And by that, I could understand between the lines what they are doing. I could be the Spider-Man in the middle and to connect these people and to say like, hey, did you hear what this and this guy said to a doctor? And then he said, no. And I said, he said this and this and this. Yeah, but what do you think? I saw in that name of sickness, like ALS or Parkinson's or something, I saw this and this and this, And today, Parkinson's, all people with Parkinson's, what they take a medicine, a chemical stuff and whatever. But how many people, how many doctors do a heavy metal test on these people? If you are exposed to manganese, the manganese in a higher level makes the same symptoms as actually Parkinson's makes. This is a manganism, it's called. Yeah, the manganism symptoms is Parkinson's. So if there is other cases, Parkinson's, that is not the manganese in the front, but it's Lyme disease or it's something else that is in reducing your immune system and breaking down the nerve system and making you shake because you have a little bit of metals, a little bit of that, and it's the wrong place and the wrong moment to meet that stuff, So this is actually, the picture is who puts the mosaic together in a certain way that you are making a picture which you can read, which you can see, which you can understand the story. And this is not so easy. I have the knowledge with, I met a lot of these big brains in the world, but they have actually only time. That's why they are big brains for one thing. That's why they are a specialist. They have only time to watch on one thing, to watch really deep. What we are doing is not to watch deep, but to understand what is connected to what and why. So we are working on a not so deep level, but we are overlooking all this large level, the larger things. That's why we can be therapists. When we test something, we can send the people to the right doctor, to the right therapist. Sometimes it's you go to a chiropractor. Sometimes you must go to a doctor to get an injection. Sometimes you must go to a hospital to have a MRI or something, So this is, if we don't know, then we ask someone. Because we know a lot of people around us. And that makes us great in the moment of the therapy. Because we don't say we know everything. We just say we can test. And if we don't find something, then we search still, what can it be? And we send you to someone that maybe we know or we have heard about, that he is good or can do the therapy. We send even people forward. We have a big network. We are not the best in the world, we are not, but no, in our way of working, we know mostly the direction for the people. And that's the best way. It's not that you are, in the morning standing up and you say, okay, I'm God in medicine today. No, you're standing up normally and you have your coffee and you do the things, but then you go to the computer and if you get a new email about new research this research can be read by a lot of people in the world, but mostly it is not. Mostly it's been read only by people who got the email. Yeah, because it's something new, and then it takes maybe 1 year or 1.5 years or 5 years to come out with something. How long did it take to get asbestos out of the life of the people? It took them more than 30 years to say, now it's the point we forbid asbestos. But still today, people are dying on asbestosis. Still today, because they were exposed 30 years ago to asbestos. Yeah, and it's a diagnosis, and the same will happen with the heavy metals. The same will happen with a lot of things. We know today that if you are exposed to cigarette smoke, if you are exposed to alcohol, if you are exposed to other things, that you are a daily drinker, yeah, because you have worked on the road making asphalt, or you're driving a truck, or you are working on, you're building up a house with bricks. These people normally smoke and drink and have a different life. Okay, they don't have time and they don't understand what is food for like organic food. Yeah, but why are these people normally more powerful than vegans or than vegetarians? The body is continuously exposed to that dirt, so it is producing enzymes, proteins to protect themselves. So if you are living really clean today, what happens is that your body suddenly gets a substance in the body and must produce and must search which one is the right enzyme. In the meantime, you are totally down and you have bad symptoms. This is really happening right now. So from one side, I see this the sick people. From the other side, I see the other side, that there is people who are living not so clean. They are even living okay, you know. Sometimes they're living better. It's too large right now to say everybody should take this or everybody should take that. But I say everybody definitely should do something, like detoxing, watching on the bacteria, watching on the traumas, watching on the EMFs, yeah, electromagnetic frequencies, which is the second killing machine next to chemtrails right now on the and chemtrails is a killing machine. And I don't close my mouth, you know, I just open my mouth and I just talk. Is electromagnetic frequencies. Our world never had this kind of frequencies, and this in this short time developed is the other thing. We are exposed right now to an amount and to a larger field than ever before in the planet's lifetime, we can say, for humans, for animals. You know, the extinction rate of the animals. It's not only the geoengineering, but it's even the frequencies. The most important and richest industry right now on Earth, what is it? It's the communication industry. And they are even the biggest polluters in the world right now, the official polluters, you know, because they're building up the masts, they need electricity, they do the things, they produce cell phones, they sell the cell phones break and whatever, they get thrown away. And all this industry is so large that it's right now the biggest polluter. And it's the richest industry. They're fighting so much to come into countries, and they fight so much not to get thrown out in the private systems. Once you have a phone, you get so much stuff from them, you know, to keep your phone, to make it nicer and everything. I have thrown mine away. I don't use a cell phone. We don't use Wi-Fi. I don't want to get the exposure of the city and this stuff. So I'm living out of the city, but not everybody is possible to do that. But everybody is possible to get sherming stuff. You know, over your bed, you can hang a special fabric. This fabric is got inside of the cotton threads. It's got silver threads inside. So it's absorbing the frequency and it's reflecting frequencies. Absorbing, then you must ground the fabric with a little cable, and you put it in the ground. So the frequencies that arrive and that get the tension in the field, they go out, and you can ground them. There is a lot of things that people can do, But some people like to live with the cell phone under the pillow and to sleep with it, or with a charger. The charger is right next to the bed, and they are charging the cell phone. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, they just wake up because a friend had sent a message. I never did that. Even when I used my cell phones, I said, now it's night, now I want to sleep. No one could reach me in the night. They must call me on my normal telephone, my landline number, if something happened. But they couldn't reach me on the other way.
Oh, by the way, just to talk about something positive. There's been something positive happening. I just thought of it because somebody just came online. I saw who they were. I don't know if you have been online much recently, but there was a fundraising to help Max Bliss go to a climate conference in the United States, because there was a climate conference this summer, and many British and activists went there. And it was very successful, because apparently, like what you were saying about doctors only knowing a certain specific section of their work, the same thing with the people that are working in what we call now you could call it the climate industry, because they're actually making an industry out of climate modification. These people are working in their little box, and they don't see the big picture of what they're actually doing. And anyhow, so the thing was really successful, these 4 activists that went to the conference. So now there's an activist in the United States called Alexandra, and she's put the government on notice for chemtrails that she was going to sue them. So I think that's a really good idea, because we have been, in Britain last year, we delivered a petition to the Prime Minister at 10 Downing Street. There was a march with hundreds of people, and that petition and the directive to ban geoengineering was delivered twice. And the only thing that they got as a reply was an acknowledgement of the letter. And so the government officials are not listening. So we've come to the conclusion that the only thing that's going to work is suing them, because that's a weapon. That's the only thing that they understand. And if you can go to a conference and talk to the people that are in doing all these stupid things to the atmosphere and everything, most of those people are human beings, and they can understand that maybe you can talk to them with respect. If you start coming at them like they're crazy, they won't react very well to that. But anyhow, I'm going to see whether this guy will come online with us and see, because anyway, they did a fundraising to get Max to go to the United States to this conference, because when they did this, when the British people went to this other conference in the EU, I think it was in Germany, I'm not sure, it was very successful because they asked questions in a diplomatic and intelligent manner, which made the people start to think about what they're doing. And anyhow, so engaging in a diplomatic way with your enemy rather than trying to confront them, may be more successful. I don't know.
If I'm right, Barbara, there is another court case going on, because it's in Sweden.
Oh, really?
And it's about 4,000 people which are suing the government, they are suing the military, they are suing the meteorological guys, all in one, because if you write a letter to the government, they must write you back. If you write to an open institute, which is a governmental institute, and even the military, if you are asking something, they must write you a letter back. And if you don't get a letter back, if they just don't write you back, You have the right for an answer. If they can't answer you, they must still write your letter. So the not responding on questions made it possible to make a court case.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
I think it began 1 year ago. I'm not sure now 100%, but I have seen a date like January 2014, if I'm not wrong. And so actually right now it should be in the position to be in court, you know. And so that's going on. So Alexandra was not the first one, but I saw what Alexandra May Hunter did in America, and I followed it even a little bit. And she's in the position of I think she's a lawyer, so she's in a position to bring that out from her point. The other thing is, if you see who is the government today, and if you look a little bit with open eyes, it should be elected people, elected from the people in the country. But right now it's not happening anymore. There is so much stuff going on that the government is decided for the next 4 years. It's decided already before the election is being done, you know. You can see it in America. It was really, really funny. On October 16, and the election was on November 4, I think. On October 16 comes out a video in YouTube that a woman called a channel, a TV channel. And the TV channel suddenly pushed the wrong button. So behind that woman that she was talking in the TV channel, behind that woman comes this little movie about the election. And in the state of like Washington, President Obama got this much votes and the other one got this much votes and this stuff. And she said like, hey, what the fuck is going on? You know, what's going on here? Something is totally wrong now. So she called these guys and she was really, really angry. Like, where does this video come from? Where did you get it registered? How does it come out now? The election is already, it's only in 3 weeks or something, you know? And I don't know how many people did see this kind of videos, but it is, it's not a montage, something, it was true. And the German guys, it didn't come out so often, but last time in the election it came out that a lot of papers that people did sign, that did vote, you know, on a certain name, a lot of papers did disappear. If they didn't disappear, it was maybe 70 people in one region did vote for someone. Then it was written on it a total of 70 people. And then under the line it was written 234. Suddenly. It was a totally different number. That they changed a lot of things. So this is only for the appearance. But the decision is being made in a totally different position in the EU, in the world meetings that they do, you know. Today a lot of people know that the NATO planes are spraying, that the WHO is making false advice for you know, virus epidemic stuff and everything. So how can it be one time it's really a problem, yeah, an epidemic problem, and they say, oh, nothing is there. And another time, just to bring out a vaccination program, they say there is a problem and there is nothing. Yeah? And and when the boss of the WHO, the number one, says, oh, I am electrohypersensitive, that she is a Norwegian woman, and she was for a while the boss. Now she was the number one. She said, I am electrohypersensitive. I can't tolerate cell phones. I get sick. I can feel them when they are too close to me. Then suddenly she had to leave the place. And she's still talking about it. And she doesn't want people with a cell phone. And so after a while, it came out that microwave radiations is cancerogen, so it's B2, or in the category, like poison stuff that makes cancer, you know. And
okay, just a second, hold on, go 1 second, Renzo, because people might not understand. So the microwave frequency, are you talking about heart then?
No, I'm talking about cell phones, I'm talking about HARP, I'm talking about Wi-Fi, I'm talking about radar, I'm talking about everything which is between 300 megahertz to 300 gigahertz. We're not talking about a Nokia telephone, but the Samsung doesn't do it. We're talking about all this stuff that is invisible and that you are using to communicate. We are not talking about the first radios which we used, but we're talking about all this stuff in the way, like if you use too much X-ray, if you're making too much pictures, they know that it is bad for your body. You know, this guy, Röntgen brought it out. He found that waves, you know, you can say, and he used them. But he did do one mistake. He put himself too often in front of the machine. So all this radiation, which was quite too much radiation, went through his body, and he died on cancer. Suddenly on cancer, you know, so he got sick from it. And he didn't know it was making cancer, but he died on it.
Do you think that all this toxicity, the heavy metals and the radioactivity and the high frequency crap that's going around with the Wi-Fi and the HARP and everything is contributing to the increased cancer rate?
Of course. It is it's a combination, and the body can tolerate a certain thing. And when a body is an active system, and it's an intelligent system. If you are forming inside of your body clusters of toxic metals, okay, and the body has got the metals in one cell, the body is able to store the mercury on one point of the cell, the aluminum on another part of the cell, so the aluminum will never touch the mercury, okay? If everything is too much overloaded in that cell, the body begins to produce fat cells.
Fat cells. Fat cells.
Yeah, a normal body becomes bigger and more fatty. That means the body has got storage for the heavy stuff. Then people are doing a mistake. They're trying to go on a diet. The diet takes these fat cells not away, but it makes them smaller. Then, when it becomes smaller, the metals and the neurotoxins will touch. In that moment, you get galvanization. Galvanization is between different metals. There is a chemical reaction, and the lowest one we can say in that system, like gold is a higher one, and platinum is a higher one, mercury is a lower one. Yeah, the lower one in that system gets destroyed, and forming gas and other things. So you have electricity in that system. You have a lot of stuff in that system. So the body will see that because you're getting sicker, and to protect your organs to live, which is heart, liver, spleen, all these little organs, not the teeth. The teeth not. The teeth are not part of the organ for the school. Okay, the school medicine says the teeth are not part of the body organs, because if you take all of them out of your mouth, you can still live. But if you take the heart out, you can't live. So in the moment that you are making a diet and you are going down with your weight, body weight, happens one thing. The body is getting poisoned more and more and more, and getting overload of electricity. Then it says, okay, I must store more fat. And then it absorbs the fat, and you are just looking, you are just watching at the chocolate, and you are putting a kilo on. Pang, and pang, you're getting bigger. And then you have the yo-yo effect. That's what we call a yo-yo effect. With every diet I do, I go down and I become bigger, I become heavier, I become more fat, you know. And over 10, 20, 30 years, people are 20 kilo overweight, or 30, 40 kilo overweight. Some people, they take the amalgam filling out of the mouth, the silver mercury fillings. Then they put on that place gold fillings, gold inlays, okay? This gold inlays makes it not possible for the body to detox the mercury. In that moment, people just become more fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter. So to help these people to detox and to do something for the body, you must take the gold fillings out of the mouth. Everything what is metal and what is in the body must get out. Then the people can come down from the weight, and then they can become healthier. But normally, you see...
What kind of fillings do you recommend?
Today, if you use porcelain, which is ceramic fillings, you can use, but you must take care for the glue, what kind of glue they're using, yeah, to fill them in. And the other one is the plastic fillings. If you use a plastic, then you must harden it 2 times with a blue light that they're using. Minimum is hardened to 2 times, because otherwise, if you make it hard only 1 time, this 10-15 seconds with a light, they are still able to produce a gas which is really toxic for the body. So if you hard it 2 times, the dentist, then it's not coming out of the fillings anymore. That's what we know by science. The problem with the fat is actually a good problem. If you see that a lot of fat people are still looking healthy, they still have power, they can walk, they can do a lot of things that skinny people can't do today. Because they have the dirt storage in the front, in the back, the bum and everything, They just have an overload, and they have even an overload of a storage place. Hans, what are you telling us about these problems?
I should know about that, what you were talking about, the dentist, because I just went to the dentist some weeks ago, and I could tell the dentist, please do it twice with that light you were talking about, So I think it was just once my dentist did it, so I don't know what's going on now with my teeth. Anyway, it's yeah.
Then you should take a substance now, which is helping you to detox the plastic shit. It's MSM. MSM, and this MSM actually is a sulfur salt, Schwefelsalz.
Schwefelsalz. Okay.
Yeah, so if you are taking a glass of water and you put 2-3 gram of that stuff, like a teaspoon, you just put in and you take it and you drink it, your body is taking out of the system a lot of dirt from the lungs and from other things. Yeah. It's taking out a lot of stuff that gets bound by sulfur. Okay. And garlic does the same if you have a good garlic.
Oh yeah, we have garlic here.
For the certain different things, sometimes you must change even a little bit with the substance you take, And DMPS actually is even like working on a high sulfur quantity and stuff, So it's you can inject it and you can drink it. The Russian version is the best one. You can even drink it. And I did inject it and drink it. So I ordered it in Germany and I got it.
Okay.
And it's really powerful stuff that they saved the life from the uranium miners and mercury mines in Russia in the 1950s. Then in the 1970s, it went over to China. They saw that the Russians were not dying anymore with 30 years of age when they were. And they said, what are they doing? And so they overtook the stuff to China. And so they saved the life of these people in the mines. And you can pee out with it, and you can, we can say, you can shit out uranium, radioactive uranium, radioactive other substances, what you have in your body, cesium and all this stuff. You can take out heavy metals with it. You take out a certain kind of neurotoxins that you can't normally catch, So it helps quite well. But when you come to a certain point that you have this, what I said in the beginning, you have some metals and some stuff which is surrounded and packed up in proteins of your body, then this stuff can't find it. Then you need a blood with a double membrane filtration apheresis in Germany.
Okay.
That is in 2 hours they take out 60 to 80% of the rubbish you have in your blood. This is great because in 2 hours you can do the job that you are doing maybe in 1 year or 2 years of detoxing. You can do it in 2 hours. And it costs money.
At the clinic that you mentioned. At the clinic that you mentioned in Germany, where you have radiation therapy, right? That's what you're talking about. So that you can detox more quickly. Because the more toxic you are, then the more likely it is that you're going to get seriously ill.
A lot of people today are flying with a plane, and they have the aerotoxic syndrome. This
Yeah.
aerotoxic syndrome actually is based on TCP, phosphate. So that's what a plane is producing inside of the turbine of the engine. If there is a little leakage of oil, of hydraulic oil or engine oil, the air conditioning is absorbing the air directly next to the burning chamber inside of the plane engine. So you're getting maybe the exhaust in the cabin. And the pilots are smelling sweet air, and suddenly the air is electric. They can feel electricity in the air, and then they just lose consciousness. And they say that there has been like two events of this in the last 10 years or something, but that's bullshit. There was from 2009 registered cases, 633 to last year in 2014. And now this year only, it was so many. It's getting more and more and more. And all planes are in that right now. The only plane right now of the modern planes we have, which has got a different system, is the 787. Yeah, the big one. It's got a system that the air comes from the front. It doesn't come from the engines. And so if you see this stewardess which are getting sick, they just get neurological symptoms and they say it's TCP, TCP, TCP. I try to go in contact with these guys, and I talk to some people. They are in contact with these girls and with these pilots, and I say, it's not only this TCP, but check out in the plane a little bit the fabric. You are using a spray. When you are flying from Uganda, you are flying up to Frankfurt. When the machine is in Frankfurt, the airplane, they are spraying inside anti-parasite stuff, okay? And 10 minutes after that, and these people are running around with a suit and they have a gas mask and all the stuff. And in that moment that they are finished, they come out of the plane and the passenger is going into the plane in the same moment, you know, because they are hurrying and they're running. And then you get exposed to this stuff. Then they are spraying inside of the plane, and in the fabric is this anti-inflammable stuff. So if the plane is burning, it burns a little bit slower. So you get a little bit cooked slower, we can say. You know, all these chemicals that they have in there. Plus, if they start and they are going up to a certain highness, they are directly in the chemtrails. So all this stuff goes directly inside of the air cabin air. In that moment, imagine how much the body is exposed to. Yeah. This is totally crazy not to see this aside just the oil problem or the hydraulic oil problem. But, you know, some of these people did these tests on the windows, and they took the stuff and they found aluminum, barium, and cadmium, and in the plane. And then they found other stuff, and we did some stuff with the rain, and we did some stuff with the soil, and we did some stuff with the grass here in Norway. And so we have evidence. And if you look in the stewardess blood, you don't find only TCP. You find even the stuff that they found in me: aluminum, barium, strontium, titanate, and stuff. You know, it is everywhere right now. But they are flying every day through that dirt, and sometimes they are flying long time in that dirt. So they are much higher exposed than we are on the ground, and we are getting sick. We are getting sick on the ground, and it's a different delusion up down here. It's not the same as they are exposed to. They fly behind the spraying planes. In Germany, I flew from Frankfurt Hahn, and I saw 11 planes or something around us, and we had to take a curve because we were directly in the chemtrails. From Pescara, from Italy, flying to Oslo, I made photos that our plane I was sitting in, it was a Ryanair plane, had a big trail behind in the shadow. I could see it in the water and in the clouds, a big shadow. And the stewardess told me that there was zero humidity. Zero humidity. So we could not even have a trail. And I talked to her and I said, like, hey, have you seen how much dirt is coming out of this plane? And she said, yes, I know our planes have a lot of dirt coming out. But now they are working on a new way not to have it shown anymore so much. Oh, so they know about it, but they are all scared to talk about it.
That's right, yeah. Well, recently there was an article about how 3 journalists were killed and one's career destroyed in the United States because they were going to expose that 9/11 was an inside job. So these are the kind of powers that we're dealing with.
You know, 9/11 and all these things, and if you look who bought 14 days or 10 days before the accident, who bought the buildings, yeah? And then he made a new insurance on the buildings, because there was no insurance in a case of that a plane is flying into the buildings. So he made an insurance. If there is a plane flying into the building, I get so many $1 billion. And what happened is, the story came that actually, I'm not sure because I don't believe in the planes anymore, but that the towers got hit by 2 planes. So he won against the insurance company, that the insurance company must pay him what they agreed on that 14 days made before insurance. And actually, he went to court to sue the insurance company that he wanted the double money because 2 planes went into the tower, not one, 2. And you know what? He won. And the same guy did a lot of things. He bought planes, he bought companies, and he insured them against if there is a plane crash or something, and that plane came down. So it's all times the same guy doing that. So for me, he's a puppet just brought out from some other people which are planning all the stuff. You know, it looks like it's like a cartoon that you can see in the beginning of the cartoon who is winning in the end. You know, just look who is making the insurance under what name, and then you see what is going to happen. So don't go there where he is making the insurance. Don't go there for the next 2 weeks, because then it will happen. It's all times the same, and there is a lot of this stuff in the internet with you know, some journalists, they brought out some stuff and they must run away. It's normal, but I'm happy that they're still like us. They open the mouth, and you know, all the other ones are not opening the mouth anymore.
Right. One more thing, I have to go because it's getting late. Something very interesting about the spiritual aspect of geoengineering, because I know that Renzo has some kind of spiritual life because he's a healer. The fact that they're blocking out the sun, and we need the sun not only for vitamin D production, but for activation of our pituitary gland. Isn't that right? Our third eye. Isn't that right, Renzo?
Actually, the pineal gland is...
It's the pineal gland, that's right, the pineal gland.
The pineal gland is actually the most light-sensitive organ we have, like a gland we have in the body. It's not the eyes. If you look into the sun, it's not your eyes which is getting the biggest problems, but it's, you know, it's just 3 centimeters inside of your bones, you know, in the head. It's like where between the eyes, we can say a little bit higher. And it's there to produce melatonin, it's there to produce other things. So in the morning when the sun goes up and it's becoming daylight, you are producing a certain amount of melatonin. In the evening when the sun goes down and you're turning off the lights in the house, you're producing 4 times more melatonin than in the morning or during the day. Then you're getting tired and you are having the best antioxidant you can have in your body. It's 50 times stronger than every other antioxidant we have to take into our body, yeah? Like food or something like vitamin C or other things. And what we know is that having this exposure to the metals, having the exposure to the pesticides and everything else, so our body system is freaking out. We have the exposure to the microwave from cell phones and from other devices that we are using today. We are watching into an plasma TV or into an LED TV, or So all this stuff with the blue light is turning off this gland, and we are damaging our aura. The aura is getting damaged. So we are not anymore so stable as we were. And things can come over to you easier. Um, it's like you get old times shooting with a bullet in your arm, then in your shoulder, then in your leg, and suddenly you can't walk anymore if you have too many bullets, you know. And it's not that they kill you in a second, just giving the bullet into your head, but it's everywhere around you. You are exposed to a big stress factor. And from the spiritual side, we must come back to build up our aura. And what I figured out for myself, and I think that the barrier is the most worst thing for our light inside of our body. From that perspective, I'm talking about, I could connect to people all over the world. I could connect to animals, and they could show it in the brainwaves. We did a lot of tests in the Communication and Brain Research Center. Then suddenly I was not even able anymore to connect to someone. I couldn't see anymore what is wrong with this person. Where is, like an X-ray picture I made with them, I couldn't see that. And I could hardly, when I touched someone for a long time, I could hardly help him, hardly, to send him some energy. But then I broke down. And more and more I got clean from the blood washings and from the zeolite and from the chlorella and the microsilica and from the MSM and other substances. More I got clean, and more I went against some days it's a bacterial infection in the front, some days it's the metal, some days it's the pesticides, insecticides, some days it's the oils that I touched when I was a truck dealer. I bought and I sold big trucks, you know, for a long, long time. And the body was suddenly turning on again, so I could begin to help. And today I'm back able to get contact to some of these people, even on far distance. And it's got to do with some of these metals and with the frequencies surrounding us. So it shuts us really off. Slowly they take some of the fuses away, click, 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 and the whole system doesn't work anymore. Yeah, and then they say, oh, it's a genetic problem, you know. That's what they call it. If they try to understand of a school medicine basis what is really going on, it's really difficult. So we can't blame them totally. But what I do is I blame them in the moment I say, if someone talks to you and thinks about a problem, it's not all times that he is psychological ill. We are not all crazy. Yeah, that's what I want to get out to the people. We are not all crazy if we talk about it, and if we have a problem with it. I don't want to get sprayed. I don't want to have people around me with cell phones continuously on the ear, and I'm exposed to, because I can't run away, because maximum distance I go on 10 meters and then I meet someone else with a cell phone. You know, it is everywhere right now. So it's like a little prison that you're living in when you are staying home, where you are quite safe, and you must build up your own place that you are feeling nice, you must feel really, everything must fit in your life. Then you say like, oh, the best place, I don't need to go out, I have home, you know? You have animals, or you have flowers, or you have something that you like and that you are doing, then the time goes by. But if this is life, like we wanted to do it when we were born, I'm not sure. This is something different maybe. We wanted to travel and we did things, you know, and I traveled quite a lot. And on a certain day, I just stopped traveling. And I hardly go and sit in a plane today. I hardly take the car and I say like, okay, I drive to Germany, I drive to Italy, or I drive somewhere else. No, I don't do that. I just stay where I feel safe. And I have less problems than most of the people. Most of the people will say, yeah, but I want to go to the party. Yeah, then go. If you want to go to the party, then go. But you know that within half an hour, you're feeling like shit. You know, you're feeling like totally down in that moment. It's your problem. But you know where it comes from. There is 25 people, and they're all watching into the Facebook by their smartphones, you know. And they have Wi-Fi at home. Next to it is another big building, and they have computers and other things, and they are all running on Wi-Fi. The bus line with the buses is just in front of the door, and all these buses have got Wi-Fi. Norwegian airline is got Wi-Fi in the plane in an aluminum body. They having Wi-Fi. That means you have 2.4 gigahertz, 2.45 gigahertz inside of aluminum body in the plane, the same frequency as a microwave oven, and they're using it inside of the plane. When people, after 1 hour of flying, they go to get the luggage, they don't remember which luggage is theirs, They're just staying in front of the luggage, and they go around and around and around and around, and after 20 minutes going around, they say, my luggage arrived. But you have seen it 6 times going around on the belt, This is truly happening right now.
Incredible. Yep.
What about, I know there's a lot of, all of this stuff costs a lot of money. And a lot of people also are having financial problems right now. I was looking into juicing recently, and also I was thinking about, a lot of people aren't connected to the earth, that the frequency of the earth, which is the same frequency as our body.
7.83, 7.84 hertz. It's Schumann resonance wave, yes.
So if people want to get grounded, they can meditate or spend more time in nature, and to keep their aura more healthy.
I would say to that aspect, if you want to meditate, you can do it everywhere. Number one. Number two, you must take care where you meditate. Because in the moment of meditation, what you are doing is you are going down with if you are able to meditate, number one. If you are able, then you're going down with your brain waves. You're going in a lower state. So if you are in a range 7.9 to going down to 4 hertz, then you are in a wave that you get pictures, like when you're dreaming and when you're doing things. When you're lower, then you are in delta. So that means you are in a REM, in a rapid eye movement. You are in a trance effect. It can be an effect, a manipulated effect as well, by drugs or something. But then, if you are in that range, you are your body is weaker, because automatically when you are going into this effect, it's like sleeping, we can say. And when you're sleeping, you are 450 to 600 times weaker against these microwaves and the electric fields to protect yourself, because your body is producing a protein 53, or it's handling a nuclear poor complex. That's what some researchers found out. I had nothing to do, and so like most of the time, I don't say like, but I had nothing to do. It's just a joke. When I saw that, I said, okay, I want to know more about this, because it works against cancer, it works against this, let's say. So I found out the studies, and I only found 3 studies. It's not more in the world, and I was like, what? I couldn't find more than 3 studies of that. And so I called the researchers, and I talked to them. I said like, hey, it's wonderful that you found out this and this and this. And they said, yes, we made a study. And I said, okay, I have this and this questions, because if you write this and this down, and then this and this is chemical reaction, and there is the other way with the electrosmog, and this is this and this and this. And so I brought some stuff together. He was on the phone, and he said, actually, I can't answer you. We did the study, we found this, but we didn't understand it. And I said, oh, that's great. That's really great to know, So there is answers and no answers. And if they search long enough, then there comes a taser. Then there comes someone with a theory. And the theory becomes true after they talk a long time about it. And, more they deny something, one day it becomes true that there was nothing. Even if you know that there was something, they make it become nothing. And so the whole world is made out of this system of believing, fooling people, and doing the things. And if you think there is this grounding maps, you're having a wire, you are taking your feet and you walk barefoot. It's all okay if you do it. If you do it on the beach and you are walking in the wet sand, it's all okay. But if there is a mobile phone mast next to you, your body is an antenna, absorbed metals in the body become antennas. So you are directly exposed to that Wi-Fi frequency, to the mobile frequency. The tension in your body formed goes through your body directly in the earth, in the ground. So if you are there, then it's wrong. You must know where to do that. If you are at home and you're lying in your bed and then you have a wire problem, that your lamp is not really grounded in the bedroom or in the living room where you're meditating, then the electricity can go from the top to your body, over the body, in the bed, and going out in the ground. That means you are a cable. You don't want to lie in that. You can't reach the 7.83 hertz of Schumann to get the input, because that input actually comes from the earth to you. But you get the 8.1 hertz, you get the 50 hertz, and you get all the other frequencies. So I'm not against grounding, but I'm more for the grounding in a perfect way, never in a little bit unperfect way. That's a really, really important message. It's a really, really important message, because they are setting so much devices that you can put a sheet that you can use in the bed, and you can do a lot of things, and in front of the computer you can ground, you know, but your hands are touching a computer with 220, 230 volt technique. Inside of the computer is 20,000 volt to make the computer run faster. You are sitting on a metal chair with metal feet, and you are grounding yourself, and all the frequencies around you gets into the metal, absorbed and forming tension. So in how many fields are you sitting, and you're grounding yourself in that moment? You becoming the wire. How sick can it make you? That's a question.
That's amazing, yeah.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
I look all times from the part of, if I get a question and I can't answer it, it's one thing. The other one is, if I can answer it, I must be so true. Yeah. If I would have a business and I would sell this stuff, I would tell the people the wrong things that can happen. And maybe I would never get rich, because I can't lie on that. You know, I can't bring someone in the bed because they're getting sick. That's not my way. That's why I became a healer in that way. People found out I was a healer and this stuff. So, and one day they nominated me in the internet and other things, you know, like they made me a website. I never put anything in the website, so it's not active, it's not updated. But I will do that soon, somehow, maybe. I'm trying that for the last 2 years, and I couldn't do it. Because it's not my way normally to go in a website and to modify and to write something in there or something. Everything what is in there, someone else did for me, like a gift, because I helped her a few times in Australia, in England, and in Spain, with some patients and with herself. So she wanted to help me, and she wanted to make the website. And after I got outed in 2010 in Washington, in Seattle, then I said, okay, now you can do it, because before that one, I was an undercover healer. You know, only good doctors in the world did know me. Otherwise, people didn't know me. And so I must say the truth. And if there is a substance that I say it is good, but it can have side effects, I must tell you. You know, it sounds sometimes that everything what I talk about is bad. Everything is like depressing. But it's only feeling bad and depressing if you don't know about it. In the moment that you understand what I'm talking about, when I say it's good up to that point, then comes the other one. So that means you can use certain things, and then you must shift. You must go to something else. And I do a life. I don't have depression. I'm not a depressed person. And I look up in the sky and I see that what's coming down, and you know, I get angry. I get really angry with it. But I'm not depressed or something. I don't have this point, and doing other things. I still go and feed my animals. I don't give up in the morning. I say, I just don't feed my animals anymore. They will die tomorrow or after tomorrow or whatever they die off, then I make them die today. I don't do that. I stand up and I open my mouth and I try to show the people the sky. I try to show the people the microwave reaction of our body, and I try to show the poisoning of the pesticides, insecticides, and the stuff, the Roundup, glyphosate. The bees are dying everywhere, all over the world. We have beehives, we have bees, we have horses, we have sheep, we have chicken, we have uh, roosters running around making a lot of noise. We have dogs. We are full of animals. But I don't want my little girl, my baby, go to a kindergarten, because I know that if there's a kindergarten with Wi-Fi, I don't want that. If they are talking about vaccination, I don't like the vaccination. All this stuff is full of poison right now, and so in that moment, I try to hide from that normal life that other people call normal. For me, my life is normal.
Yeah, the big picture is very depressing, particularly in North America, and the United States, where they're obliging people to vaccinate their children. And also in Great Britain, it's almost become criminal for you not to want to vaccinate your child.
Yeah, the same as in Norway. The same as in Norway coming out, and in other countries it's full. And now in India, I did read that one vaccination program was 45,000 kids died.
What?
And yeah, it's
45,000? Are
yeah,
you sure?
yeah, in India I think it was. It is Bill Gates program that he does. And yeah, some people are giving poison to the people, and some other people are giving poison, and they don't even have to go to court. Because they are covered. So if we open the mouth and we continue saying the truth, then we must say this, what I just said. There is people around the world, they can do things that other people can't do. And it's not a lie, it's just a fact. If you see that, Artemisia annua, an extract is called artemisinin. This artemisinin was able to show in 2001 that 96% to 98% of the breast cancer cells, lung cancer cells, they just died by taking a certain amount, 3 to 6 milligram per kilogram of your body weight. In addition, before you have to take some injections of iron to fill up your body with iron. So this artemisinin goes directly to the iron-rich cells and works. So cancer is absorbing iron. We know that. And so Professor Lai in Seattle, in the University of Washington, he did show that. He is a doctor and a professor, and he works on electrosmog, he works on cancer, he works on a lot of things. He did publish all this. I called him, and I talked to him, like to a lot of other people from Japan, from Australia. I just take the phone and I call these people. And other people say, but you can't call these people. I say, why not? I found the name, I found the number, I did call them, they did take the phone, and I talked to them, and they did answer my questions. And sometimes I'm talking to them and I make other questions, and they say, sorry, what are you talking about? And so it can happen. These people are focused on their point, and they are working on a certain thing. They become perfect in their way of life. And I have side effect questions, we can say, to even sometimes to wake them up to look on something else. And I like that way. I like that way to try to call them, not to write an email. I can't explain myself in an email. We talked now here for, I don't know, 10 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. I don't know how long Hans kept us on the Skype now. But if you see, if I should have written now an email to explain what I'm thinking, what I know, or the context of the stuff, or to explain a zeolite, how long would I have taken? It was like a book, it would be a book.
Yep.
I don't have the time for that. My fingers would be wounds,
Mm-hmm.
So
Renzo, sorry, I'm going to ask this question because it might help other people too. I looked at the page with the zeolite, and there's more than one product on that page. I think I sent you that link. And regarding the
What are the names? What are the
one
names?
there's so many of them. I didn't know which one is the correct one.
I can see if I find a box here or something, because I know I don't have it today at home, because I have only one box without name, because I made it fill up a bigger box, and so I didn't put an etiquette on it, so there's no name on it.
You can see it if you go to your Skype. I sent you a link to the page. Maybe you would recognize it from the page. From the it's called healthforhandleren.no.
Yeah,
The
I saw.
Norwegian site, but there's no possibility of going to English or any other language. But you can also use Google Translate if people are interested in ordinary from there. And
Okay.
I found the other thing that you mentioned.
If you go on that page and you click on that zeolite, then on the left side there is a box. Okay. That box is Zeoactive, 125 gram. That is a box, but I think the name is changed. But that is a box, and that is the same zeolite.
Okay, hold on a second, please.
Oh, now the listeners to the show, they can't see that what we are watching now. So
no, but I can. Yeah, it's the healthforhandleren.no, and I did the search for zeolite, but there's no zeolite active there. But I can post it on Facebook, Hans, if you want, because I'm going to be signing off soon.
Yeah.
I'll give you.
What I would like. Sorry. What I would like is. I mean, I'm recording this, and this will be on YouTube. So all those links and names on your Facebooks, whatever, you give me every link, and I will post it there. So people who are watching this or listening to this interview, they can just make a click and they find it easy. So if you give me
yes.
The links and the message.
So I'm sorry, I'm trying to
and I posted
ask my questions. Yeah, I look on the zeolite page. I don't see a zeolite active page. Zeolite active.
I just did send you the link on Skype.
Okay, 1 second.
When you open that one on the left side, there is a Zeoactive, 125 gram. There is no, I think it's a different name. It just changed the name.
Zeoactive. And then regarding the microsilica.
Microsilica, you must order the microsilica in England, or you must order it in biopure.eu in Austria. Other sources is in America should be biopureus.com.
Biopure.eu.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll just close with the zeoactive. I'll start with the zeolite for now. I just want to mention one thing that I'm trying right now. It's a product which comes from North America and was developed by a Korean man who's aware, of all the Chinese medicine, or it's a lot more complicated than the stuff that we know about. Anyway, they developed this product, and this is what I'm trying now. It's called Solar Strips, and you put it on your tongue, and each solar strip contains 37.5 milligrams of proprietary alpha-3 concentrated marine phytoplankton. And when you were talking about, because that's the source for chlorella, right? The plankton, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I don't know the product, and I don't know that details.
Because plankton, when you take your chlorella, right? Isn't that chlorella? It's this what is inside the algae.
Chlorella actually is an algae.
A chlorella is an algae.
It is an algae, and there is two kinds of chlorella which are used by the detoxing that we use in the protocols, which is purinoidosa, because it's been found in the mountains between France and Spain, first time. And the other one is vulgaris. Vulgaris actually is detoxing much finer, we can say, really slower, but it gives you a lot of minerals and vitamins and stuff. Chlorella is a high source of vitamin B12. Chlorella is 60% proteins. So people say, oh, it's so expensive. Yes, but when you take it, you eat less. So what's the point? You are spending a little bit more on your food, when you can say, you know, and you have a nice side effect because you're detoxing. Yeah, but that's why I say, if you take only a little bit, like 5 to 10 chlorella, you are mobilizing so much dirt in your body that you're getting more and more poisoned in your bloodstream, and your organs can get problems. And when you sorry for that noise now, if there is someone that turns the water pump on, so it's working the water. The chlorella actually is only really good working when you take higher amounts. You need more than you need. Then it is working. It takes out the dirt, and you still have more chlorella in the body to work, but you don't use it. Then you have no side effects of it. If you are vomiting from chlorella by taking it in, then you must take other substances before, because you have maybe swallowed an amalgam filling from your mouth, from your teeth, and it was, or a piece of it, it broke, and then you have swallowed it in your stomach. And the chlorella is mobilizing so much of that you are vomiting. So some people, they just can't hold it, you know, they can't tolerate the chlorella, and they stop. But that's wrong. They never tried with 1,000, because they say, yeah, but that's a full package. Yes, of course it is. But then it helps you in that moment, you know. And there is another substance. I don't know the English word. Maybe Hans knows it. It's Ziegenmolke. It's
No.
it is a kind of fermented goat milk, we can say. It's a kind of kefir of the goat milk, and then they dry it in powder form, and that stuff actually can take out from the mucose amalgam compounds like mercury and this stuff, you know. And so you should take that one before, and then you prepare the body, and then you can take the chlorella. And then there is no vomiting anymore, you know.
But you're saying that people shouldn't take the chlorella if they have mercury fillings.
Yeah, this is number one, because they're mobilizing. And if they swallowed a mercury filling and then they took them out, you know, and the doctor did drill them out, and a piece broke and you swallowed that one, then it can be that you are reacting on the chlorella so much that you're vomiting. Because it's directly in your body like a piece. And then maybe you go to toilet and it's out, but the compounds are still in your mucose, in the stomach and in the large intestine. And so you feel really bad. So you should take this Ziegenmolke, what I said. I know the Norwegian name, I know the German name, but I don't know the English name.
Okay, that's okay. I've been drinking what's called water kefir. Have you ever tried that, Renzo?
Yeah, my girlfriend, she makes water kefir, and she uses now cistrose tea. Cistrose is actually really, really active against bacterial infections, and then she makes that water kefir out of other things, and she's got the milk kefir, and so all this stuff is in my kitchen. Don't worry, I've seen so much of it. I'm not the one that loves it, you know, and I just look at it and it moves. It really lives. It really lives, we can say, on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps your body for the immune defense and the things. But remember what I said. I don't say people should begin to smoke or something. But one study, 1976, showed that when chicken were fed with mercury in the food, in a low amount, 1 ppm, 2 ppm, 4 ppm, and 8 ppm in the food, then the chicken the eggs didn't hatch anymore with a certain amount of mercury, and everyone that hatched, they died. And when they added a little bit of cadmium to the chicken food with the mercury, all chicken hatched up to a certain point of mercury in the food. That means that the mercury was not poison anymore in presence of the cadmium. Imagine that. The totally poison metal, heavy metal, is not as poison anymore in addition of cadmium. And then if you took too much cadmium, then you had a cadmium poison in your body. Cadmium poisonous, but not a mercury poisonous anymore. And that's amazing. That came out in 1976. So that explains for me that a lot of people with amalgam fillings, they just began to smoke. So the body is reacting directly and is searching a source of cadmium to get it quickly in the body. And what is quicker than over the lungs, you know?
What about the Morgellons fibers? I noticed in the last couple of weeks that there's been, or my perception is, that they've been spraying quite a bit of fibers here in Italy. And actually, you can see them, if you look at them in a certain light, you can see them floating. Is there any way to protect yourself from that?
You know, I don't know anything about it. That means I don't know much. Not even the other things, because there are much more specialists than me. But what I can say about Morgellons is, I don't know if I should believe in the Morgellons as what they say, as a parasite that began to fix its life with some of these plastic fibers, polymer fibers, and to follow that story, or if I just would say, we have some parasites in us which said, I don't like that fibers, so if I take them up, my host, like the human body, is working much better. And if I go and I detox that stuff, so I push them out of the skin, because that may be the easiest way, I form some symptoms, yes, of course, but my host is surviving. So in a way that your body is better functioning than other bodies, then you have the symptoms of Morgellons. If I have an electrosmog problem, I get sick from cell phones, but that means only I have receptors. They are making me having symptoms and tell me, don't do that. Don't be exposed. Then you are feeling better. And the same, it can be, I'm not sure, but it can be that Morgellons is the same. And of course, these fibers are coming down. They are called chaff, CHAFF. And of course, they use them for a lot of things. They say they use them for anti-radar and other things, you know, to hide the planes. What I say, it's a conductivity like the aluminum and the other stuff in the air, and different compounds, different. If the stuff is surrounded, the plastic stuff, if it is surrounded by metals, the conductivity of the air changes in that region. Automatically, you can change with frequencies that air. You can warm it up differently. You can do a lot of things. You can steer the weather. You can steer jet streams. You can do a lot of things with it. And if you breathe it in, of course it's damaging you. You don't want that stuff. I have seen it in Italy coming down from the sky. And my mother, I showed it, and my son, and my mother said, that's spider webs. And I say, Mom, ever have you seen hundreds and millions of spider webs coming from the sky? That's single fibers. Think about it. And she said, no. She just said, like you say, people don't want to. It's like, no, that's it. And she went inside back to the cooking, you know? And I was like, that stuff is coming down. We must go somewhere where we don't get it, you know, where we don't breathe it in, because that stuff just goes into your lungs. It goes and makes you a lot of symptoms. Of course.
I was in Toronto this summer in fall, and I collected some leaves, which I sent to Serge, you know, who's on Facebook, and I put several other. He takes photographs of dust, basically, and he found that the fibers were, you know, they become like a living being inside even a dead object, like a piece of plastic, and they change the molecular structure of the object so that it's disintegrating. And you can see that in the leaves, as some of the leaves have holes in them. And he thinks that the holes in the leaves is caused by the Morgellons fibers. And his theory also about that is with the nanotechnology, because they're also spraying some kind of nanotech stuff, is that so that we're being basically chipped. That's his theory, through what they're spraying in the sky.
No, it's no. There's no. If they spray this stuff out, they don't know who is breathing it in. That's one thing. So the shipping is one thing, you know. But actually, you become more an antenna. That's one thing.
That's right. You become an antenna.
The other thing is the scary thing. The scary thing I'm gonna tell you now. When the first pictures is been made of this stuff coming from the sky, the big pictures. It's been a lab in Phoenix, Arizona, and they had some stuff collected because it came down, and they collected it from the sky directly falling down. So they catched it up. It didn't even touch the ground. Mm-hmm. They brought the stuff to a lab because someone that she knows that she knew in the lab, and then she opened the door, and then they had access to an electron microscope, and they have put it under there, and they saw the compounds. They did some research on the compounds, and whatever they did, they made come out some of these compounds, and what came out as well was a code. That code actually was describing something really scary, because I gave that code forward to some researchers in Austria and in Germany, and I got a telephone call back like, what is that? Where did you get this from? And I was like, it was, you know, these pictures and this stuff, and it came from the sky, and it was dropped by planes. It looked like it's chef, you know. And he said, you know, that code is actually an amino acid code. That means this stuff is created directly to go inside of your body cells. When you breathe it in, it goes over the insulin channels directly into your body cells. That's crazy. And this is really, really scary. They were shocked. They were shocked when I gave them the data. And I got a phone call back from researchers, you know, on that they are able to understand what I got. And so I called them. Like I said, we don't know everything. So we have contacts to other people, and that's their job. And they call us for other things. You know, when they have a running nose, they call us like, hey, what should I take? I have 3 days now running nose, you know. And so we help each other on that point. And actually, this is a true what's going on. There is some stuff coming down which is totally programmed directly to go into your body and to do something into your body. But if it is a chip, chipping is another way. We have these guys in Denmark, and we have these guys in America with the chipping stuff, and they are searching with detectors, and they found that it's a 16 number code in the people, and they found people with 6-7 chips in their body, and these people don't remember that when they got the chips. They just had a blackout, and then suddenly they woke up, and some of them were researchers in universities. Yeah, this is no joke. And they had surgery, and they took out 7 chips of a guy and 4 or 5 chips of a woman and other people. And even we had some people. They went to Germany to have surgery. The chirurg, he was pushing with a